I'm just standing next to my early starts for my garden, and I still have a lot more stuff to start. This is just the beginning. This is the early stuff, the tomatoes, the peppers, some onions, some early kale and broccoli and some cabbage. I still got a lot of other stuff to start. But in this video, I kind of want to give you guys a little tour of what I've got going on for my garden this season. There's not a lot going on outside right now because it's still early spring, though it's been very warm. Today it's cooled down a little bit, but it's still warm. The snow's gone, which is great. But we'll do a little tour in this video of what I've got going on in the garden for this season. And I'll kind of show you guys a bit of my plan, which I'm really, really excited about. So we're just in the Pasta Solar greenhouse here. There's not a lot going on here. My wife and kids got a little craft station going on out there. And coming out into, there's this garden plot. The chickens are scratching around here a lot right now. That's why the irrigation lines are kind of all over the place. And right now, this time of season, they actually, it's really cool. And this is the third year doing this. But my laying hens, I've got one rooster and 15 laying hens. And 5 of those birds were had a broody hen last year. 5 of those ones are new. But the birds got a really good dynamic right now. But what they do is they just tour around my different plots, and the really cool thing too is they don't scratch up my garlic. My garlic is coming up. So up in this plot here, my garlic right here is coming up good. The chickens don't scratch around in there, but they come and scratch around in here, which is fantastic. And so I now have a plan for all of these, and I'll tell you, managing a garden, to plan everything out with the timing is fairly complicated. But this software that I've started using, I had a video about it not too long ago. Actually, I'll leave a link to it in the show notes. It's a little webinar showing you this software. And I've used this to plan the whole garden this season. And Paul Dysinger, the creator of it, helped me do it. We did it. We did a live stream with it a couple days ago. And then just yesterday, he took some extra time with me to help me finish the whole thing. So we've got the whole plan dialed in. And it's awesome because I've got a plot of land behind this high tunnel over here. I've got the high tunnel. I've got this plot. I've got this terrace up here, and I've got a pile of dirt up there by my sea-doo that's going to be another terrace. So my garden is going to be bigger than it's ever been on this property this year. And having this software to help me plan is going to be super cool. So let's just go back in my office and I want to show you guys what this looks like. All right, so just coming in here and checking this out. It's just, this is the view that I kind of like the most, in that it just shows me everything in time. So these blocks here are divided up into weeks. And I used to build spreadsheets out just like this. But the thing that's so cool about seed time is that when you put crops into a timeline, if you have there's a winter feature on, it will recalculate the days to maturity for that crop based on its proximity into the season. For example, this is something that's I've always had a difficult time getting people to understand when I'm teaching them farming, is that let's say I seeded carrots April 7th, and they have 70 days to maturity. I could seed the same carrots the next week and they would both arrive at the same time. The reason being is that the days are getting longer and the days are getting warmer as you go in towards summer, and so the growing conditions are changing by the day almost. And so recalculating the expectation of when a crop arrives can be quite complicated and very nuanced, and you have to really understand the crops, and you probably have to have seen them being grown at some point to know how this all works. And so this is the overview of all the crops on my farm for the entire season every week. It shows when I do the bed preparation for that crop and then direct seeding that crop. Or in this case here, seeding this broccoli. I got to start some more of this Atlantis broccoli next week. And then doing the bed preparation and then transplanting the crop. And then when you expect to harvest it. It's so cool. Here's the layout of my homestead here. And, you know, my property is not flat. So all my bed groupings, when you look at them this way, kind of look random. But this is my greenhouse, and this greenhouse faces south, but I've turned this map just so it's easier to view in a rectangular screen, because otherwise this would be going in the long way, which is difficult to view. But the neat thing about this is like I can click on crops here and I can pull up the timeline. And this is, I love this view, is if you look, watch these beds. I'll zoom out a little bit. Watch these beds dynamically change throughout the season to represent the crops going in them, the crops being harvested, and what have you, and then how the farm changes throughout the year. And I love that. I love that sort of macro perspective. The thing that's so great in this, and one of the best features that's probably the most handy, is this calendar when you view it by the month. And so, boom, there we go. Every single day of the month saying what needs to be done and when. I love how they have these features of showing the two that's really cold, and then this is sort of less cold. But the year timeline is kind of cool too, because then I can just scroll through everything this way. So you can view it in different ways. It also just produces task lists for you. Okay, these are the next things you got to do. And some of these need to be marked complete. But this just keeps you on task, and it keeps everything together. So it's all congruent. When you click a task, it marks when that task was completed. This has just got to be the coolest thing on this, though, is just having this calendar. And you can just go through your calendar here. Okay, April, these are all the tasks that have to happen and when. And it just shows that, this crop is in the ground for this period of time and onward. Or you've got the time. It gives you a week to complete certain tasks. So it'll say here, you've got a week to complete this, and then those are considered planted. And so how handy is that, just to go through and know every single day, whenever there's a task to be done, it's all there. And it doesn't have to be thought about any time than after when you design the farm. That's what I find just so impressive about all this, is that we were able to go through and design my season, and then everything is in there once. I don't have to decide when everything else is done, so on and so forth. It's all just here. I mean, how amazing is this? So this is going to be a huge time saver for me. I hope you guys check it out, because this is, if you're a serious gardener, or even if you're just getting started, this takes out so much guesswork. This tells you when to cultivate, when to go in and weed. You go into the main timeline here, you can see all these different tasks. So seeding, bed prep, you got a week to do that. Transplant that. And so in between here, it'll say things like cultivate. Here, I have it off. That's why. Cultivation. Look at this. Turn that on. Now, boom. It'll suggest that I cultivate the garlic or the cauliflower at this point. That means to just weed the soil, cultivate the soil. So this is all your tasks for everything you need to do for your entire growing season. I love this. And it's cheap. I mean, for what they're charging for this, for what it does, if you're a serious gardener, this delegates everything for you. And it looks, from what I can see, they're adding new stuff to this all the time. Like even here, and you can see in the layout, they're adding features. This will be cool to have this text feature, so I can label that's block 5, block 4, and what have you. That'll be good to know. But incredible value if you're actually, really getting serious about gardening and you want to stay on task. And a tool like this will allow you to become a better gardener faster, because you can journal everything in here too. So you got a journal. And so you can just journal everything, take photos, upload photos. This is incredible, all in one place. And then next year, you can boilerplate your entire crop plan and then just move the crops into different places. Boom. How easy is that? This takes days, maybe even weeks of planning out of your schedule, and also allows you to delegate and prepare your gardening experience for the whole season so much easier. So if you guys thought that was cool, check it out. There's a link in the show notes that takes you to the webinar that we did, and there's a smoking deal offer on Seed Time if you like it. Check it out. I mean, this is game changing for me. The thing that I love about it probably the most is once you've put it all together, that you've got that calendar that you can just follow. And if you just follow that, you know, the garden pretty much is going to take care of itself. So super, super cool. I'm so excited for this to make my garden easier, especially for delegating out to my family, because I do call it 95% of the gardening work with my wife and kids. My kids are getting close. They can do more chores now a little bit, but my wife still, if I go away and things need to get done, the fact that I have this list is just crucial. So super excited about using it. All right, folks, we'll see you in the next one. Check out that link.